It's nice to be with you again. Thank you. So, how's your tree pose in yoga? If that doesn't bring a mental image, it's standing on one leg with your arms outstretched and overhead. So maybe you look a bit like a tree. Or more simply, how's your balance? Without a doubt, good physical balance is vital for safe walking and preventing falls. But we need balance in all parts of our lives. We hear a lot about eating well, sleeping enough, and exercising. And certainly those are aspects of a balanced life. We need work and play. We need care from others, and we need to offer support to those around us. But recently, I've been struggling with the news again. I know you've heard me say this before. My heart and my emotions are easily touched by the heartbreak of current events, the animosity of politics, the tragedy of shootings, the dreadfulness of sexual abuse, the grief of suicide, and so much more can take an emotional toll on me. Often I only read the headlines. The details are too much. But I also know that living with my head in the sand is not good either. God calls us to love our neighbor, to work for justice and positive change. And none of that is possible when I don't know the problems. Community leaders and good-hearted people working to end injustice and division are vital for any kind of improvement. But God also calls us to worship and praise, study, prayer, and a connection with the holy. As I pondered all of this, I found support and insight from what at first might seem an unlikely verse from Mark 12. Listen to Jesus' instructions. Give to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. As you recall, Jesus said this after he was asked about paying taxes. But I think it can have wider implications. That came to mind as I was pondering how much news to read and what sort of action to take. And this verse seemed to be saying, balance the work we do for the greater good with the work we do to connect with God. Our neighbors, our communities need us, but we must also spend time with God. And Jesus modeled this balanced life too. He spent time alone with God in prayer. He developed relationships with his disciples. But he also worked for justice by confronting stubborn church leaders and uplifting the marginalized of his time. So I will ask again, how's your balance? How is the time you read or watch the news compared to the time you read or listen to Scripture? How is the time you work for justice and the greater good compared to the time you cultivate your relationship with Jesus? It's clear we cannot be all one way or the other. Balance is vital. So let us follow Jesus' words and example and work to lead faithful, balanced lives.